Angels Stadium in Anaheim, where it rained just about the entire afternoon. That never happens in Southern California this time of year, but the skies are clearing and the tarp is off the field. We're getting set for baseball. It's Game 2 of the series, the Red Sox taking on the Los Angeles Angels. And good evening again, everybody. In for Don Orsillo tonight, I'm Josh Maurer. Jerry Remy is here as well. And as the Red Sox found out firsthand last night, Jerry, unfortunately, they have to deal with perhaps the hottest hitter on the planet these days in Mike Trout.
Exactly right, Josh, and probably the best player in all the game of baseball. This guy is something special, and he proved it again last night with 2 outs in the 9th inning off Uehara, gets the fastball down, takes it out of the ballpark, and gives the Angels a very exciting 1-0 win in first game of this series. And you look at Trout's numbers, and they're absolutely off the chart in Major League Baseball. You'll see his rankings tied for first in runs with 69, home runs first with 27, total bases first, slugging percentage first, on and on you go. 8-game hitting streak right now, a .419 average with 6 home runs and 12 RBIs in that span. He's the kind of guy that if I was not even a baseball fan, I'd want to watch play baseball. I would pay to watch him play because he plays it the right way. He's incredibly gifted, and I think the best player in baseball right now.
Well, the man having to deal with Mr. Trout tonight, it's Rick Porcello. He'll be on the bump for Boston. The Yankees have dropped a game this afternoon. That means the Red Sox can pick one up on the division leaders with a win tonight. We'll have the lineups of the first pitch from the Big A coming up right after this. A3 today. Dunkin' Donuts. America runs on Dunkin'. Toyota's website for deals, buyatoyota.com. DraftKings, the official daily fantasy partner of your Boston Red Sox. Infinity. Visit your local Boston area Infinity retailer for a test drive today. Uno's committed to the craft of pizza since 1943. And by Southwest Airlines, book your low fare now at southwest.com. Well, you can see some cloud cover over Angels Stadium of Anaheim. It rained, as we mentioned earlier, just about the whole afternoon. And Jerry Remy, you know from having spent a portion of your life out here, that is very, very rare for this time of year.
Well, it's shocking for everybody to see the top on the field. I mean, that's something you just don't get to see here in Southern California. And they had the top on the field for most of the afternoon as we had pretty steady rain showers coming in. But right on cue, it clears out for game time, and it looks like it's going to be a nice night for baseball.
Well, last night in Game 1 of this series, it was a terrific pitcher's duel. C.J. Wilson for the Angels, 8 shutout innings, and Wade Miley, Jerry, he was phenomenal, perhaps his best start of the year, maybe unquestionably so.
Yeah, I think his 2 best starts have come against the Angels this year. When you look at last night, I mean, one thing that was consistent for him all night long is that he kept the ball down in the zone. And, you know, most of his pitches, his fastball, his changeup, his breaking ball are all down. And when he's in that area, he's a very, very effective pitcher. Of course, the only hit he gave up was to Cole Calhoun, a ball that went off the center field wall. And unfortunately, Red Sox end up losing the ball game with the Mike Trout home run late in the game off Uehara. But for Wade Miley, 2 of the best games he's pitched, in my opinion, this year have been against this Angel Ball Club.
And tonight's Cold Hard Facts are brought to you by Clean, Crisp, Coors Light. Wade Miley in those games you mentioned, Jerry. Look at that. Just 1 run in 15 innings. A 1-0 record, and last night about as hard luck of a no decision as you can have.
Well, hard luck game for everybody involved in a Red Sox uniform last night.
Meanwhile, the Angels have taken the field as we get ready for Game 2, and they have Garrett Richards, the young right-hander, on the mound. He will face this lineup. The Red Sox lineup is brought to you by your Eastern Hyundai dealers. Similar to last night, except Piazza in right field in place of Victorino. And Brock Holt will play first base. He's batting 8th. That's in place of Mike Napoli, who is on the bench. And as you can see, Holt's hot before the All-Star break. Both he and Bogarts currently boasting 11-game hitting streaks for the Red Sox, and those are the longest 2 such streaks currently in the major leagues. The Angels starting pitcher is presented by your New England Nissan dealers, and it's Garrett Richards. He's come off of a serious injury to his knee and come back and had a fine season thus far. He beat the Red Sox in a start back in May at Fenway. You see the numbers, 9 wins in 16 starts, but coming off of a loss. This was 9 days ago before the All-Star break. July the 9th in Seattle, 4 runs in 5 1/3 innings.
The Angels defense is brought to you by DraftKings, and they are 9th in the league with 51 errors on the season. David Freese will be at third base. Eric Ibar, the shortstop. Johnny Giavatello at second. Albert Pujols, the first baseman. Left to right, Matt Joyce, Mike Trout, Cole Calhoun, and Carlos Perez doing the catching for Richards.
Mookie Betts stands in to lead it off, and Richards is ready to work. First pitch of the game is in for a strike. We are so glad you're with us on a Saturday night from Southern California. Game 2 of the series. The Red Sox trying to bounce back and gain a game on the Yankees, who lost earlier today. Betts 0 for 4 last night. And quickly he falls behind a couple of strikes.
Now, one thing you got to see from Richards is a lot of hard stuff. Hard fastball, 95, 96, hard breaking ball. Very few changeups, an occasional changeup, but not too many.
27 years old, out of the University of Oklahoma, Garrett Richards. Did Betts go? Yes, he did. On the appeal, Betts is rung up, and on 3 pitches, Garrett Richards records a strikeout to begin the game.
Well, Betts started toward the dugout and then hesitated because no call was made. Finally, the call was made, and it was called on the swing by Mookie Betts. Take a look at Betts after the breaking ball here. He starts to go toward home plate like he did swing. No call was made yet. Then they check and make the out call.
Looked like a pretty obvious swing. Hunter Wendelstedt, crew chief behind the plate, asked for the appeal. So 1 out, and Pedroia. He was 0 for 4 in his return from the disabled list yesterday. It's going to get out of play, and 5 straight strikes from Garrett Richards, throwing all hard stuff thus far. He's pitching on 8 full days of rest. We showed you his last start on the 9th of the month. Pedroia hitting over 300. Hot before he got hurt in late June. And stays alive at 0-2. Dustin, a .341 hitter since the 22nd of May.
Now, we talked about Richards throwing hard. That last fastball, 96 miles an hour.
First round pick was Garrett Richards in 2009 by the Angels. Been a part of their rotation, a regular part for 2 seasons now. 96 on the gun again. 1 ball and 2 strikes. First pitch that missed the zone. Richards in the game at Fenway on the 22nd of May gave up 5 runs in 6+ innings to Boston, but he got a win. Called strike 3, a breaking ball gets Pedroia looking. And it's back-to-back punch-outs for Garrett Richards.
Now that time he goes to the curveball to pick up the strikeout. So back-to-back strikeouts. His strikeout high in the season is 10. He did that against the Houston Astros. First 2 hitters he faced tonight, strikeouts, and that time the curveball doing the honors.
So with the bases empty, here comes the red-hot Xander Bogaerts. Extended a hitting streak to 11 games. Had a couple of hits last night. He was 2 for 4. Brushed back by the fastball from Richards on ball 1.
That's what happens sometimes when you're swinging the bat too well. Pitchers get tired of seeing it, so they give you a little something inside to think about.
High and tight. Now the 1-0. 1 ball and 1 strike on Bogaerts, who's hitting over 400 during his 11-game hitting streak. 404. He's got 19 hits in his last 11 games played. Up and in again, not as close to the body as the first pitch. 2 balls and 1 strike. Temperature right around 70 degrees as we start on this Saturday night. That'll play. It's 2-2.
Kind of a strange night here in Southern California. A little bit humid today, too, which you very rarely have out here.
Tonight's umpires are brought to you by Buick. Experience the new Buick lineup during this year's Sign and Drive. See your local Buick dealer today. Hunter Wendelstedt is the crew chief behind the plate. Bob Davidson at third, Marvin Hudson second, and David Rackley over at first. Bogaerts into deep right. It'll stay in the park, though, for Cole Calhoun. And a 1-2-3 start for Garrett Richards. Rick Porcello to the mound. 0-0. By your New England Chevy dealers. You see the men in the middle, Mike Trout and Albert Pujols, a pair of all-stars. Trout, one home run better than his teammate, 27-26. They lead the American League. Two men who didn't play last night at the bottom of the order. Matt Joyce hits 8th, and the catcher, Carlos Perez, batting in the 9th spot. All of them to face Rick Porcello. It's his second start against the Angels this season. Johnny Giavotella looks at strike one. Giavotella hitless last night, nothing for 4 in the series opener. You see a .267 hitter in his first season with the Angels. Went around and it's 0-2. Well, for Porcello, 10 days ago he snapped a personal 7-game losing streak. Got a win against the Marlins in his last start before the All-Star break. Pitching on 9 full days of rest. 0-2. Fastball right over the outside edge. And a strikeout on 3 pitches for Rick Porcello. The Red Sox starting pitcher is presented by your local New England Audi dealers. 18th start in his first season with Boston. You see a 5-9 record. Earned run average just south of 6 for Porcello. And there are the numbers in that game that he won against the Marlins at Fenway Park. Just 2 runs in 6 innings and a very nice bounce back from some recent struggles for Porcello. Each pitcher began the game tonight with a 3-pitch punch-out. And now Cole Calhoun. He'll look at ball 1. It was Calhoun in last night's game that broke up Wade Miley's no-hit bid. Doubled off the center field fence to lead off the 7th inning. Porcello, 26 years of age. Acquired in that deal with the Tigers back in December. Good curveball there. 1 ball and 1 strike.
No different look that time for Porcello. He goes to the curveball. We saw last time out, the game he pitched against Miami, he used that pitch a little bit more. I think Hannigan forcing him to use the breaking ball a little bit more than he has been. Pretty good 12-6 curveball by Porcello right there.
Both Porcello and Hannigan have openly talked, Jerry, about the comfort level they've developed with one another as battery mates.
I think the time that Hannigan was away, he was watching Porcello and picked up some things that he felt that he was doing wrong, mostly with pitch selection. And I think that's one thing that they've been working on since they've been back together here at the major league level.
2-1. And ball 3 on Cole Calhoun. Mike Trout and then Albert Pujols to follow Calhoun, the left-handed hitter. Rick picked by the Tigers back in 2007 out of his home in West Orange, New Jersey. Full count now on Cole Calhoun. For Porcello, his 1 start against the Angels came on the 22nd of May. In fact, it came against Garrett Richards. This is a pitching rematch of that Friday night affair at Fenway Park a couple of months ago. And Porcello charged with 7 runs in 4 1/3 innings. Full count. And it just missed the inside corner. Calhoun, a patient walk. He's the first base runner of the night.
And the Red Sox defense is brought to you by Southwest Airlines, and they are 7th in the league with 51 errors in 90 games. Pablo Sandoval at third base, Xander Bogaerts the shortstop, Dustin Pedroia at second. Brock Holt gets a start at first base. Left to right, Hanley Ramirez, Mookie Betts, and Alejandro De Aza, and Ryan Hannigan doing the catching for Porcello.
And so he'll have to deal with Trout with a man on first base. The home run in the 9th inning off of Koji Uehara won last night's game. It was his 27th of the year. And how about his 6th home run in his last 8 games played? You see the numbers. Trout leading the American League in homers, runs, total bases, and slugging. All of that for a 23-year-old American League MVP.
Now the home run from last night against Koji. A fastball is supposed to be away, but that stayed up middle and down over the plate and out of the ballpark for Mike Trout. This guy can absolutely do everything there is to do on a baseball field and do it all very well.
Behind here against Porcello, 0-2. One ball and 2 strikes. John Farrell talked to the media before the game about his affinity for Trout. And in paraphrasing, he basically said, you hate to face him, but as a fan of the game, it's so great to watch him play.
Well, that's what we talked about in the Open tonight. I mean, the fact that, you pay money to watch this guy play, it's worth every penny.
Up the ladder with a fastball, and Trout strikes out a foul tip that Hannigan held on to.
Once they get ahead of Trout, sometimes it's good to elevate. You can see Hannigan wants the fastball up in the zone right there. He gets it up in the zone, up and in, and they do pick up the strikeout. Mike Trout is an excellent low ball hitter.
That strikeout, an Amica strikeout. Amica Insurance, great service, great coverage, and a great price for auto, home, or life insurance. Each out in the inning has been a strikeout for Rick Porcello, and now it's Albert Pujols' turn. And a fastball gets Porcello ahead in the count on Pujols. A .253 hitter who went 0 for 3 last night. Closing in on Mike Schmidt for 15th place on the all-time Major League home run list is the 35-year-old Pujols. 1-1. He needs 2 more home runs to tie Mike Schmidt.
And the Red Sox pinching the left side of the infield. They have Bogaerts and Sandoval fairly close together on that left side, giving him up the middle. There's Bogaerts, Sandoval. Pretty close together on the left side of the infield.
Took a peek at that home run list. Pretty good company that Pujols is in and still approaching. 2 out in the first. And Albert Pujols tires of waiting. Still mostly a pull hitter. I think people have talked about bat speed with Pujols in recent years. Has it slowed down? I think in recent months that hadn't been the case. Power surge in May and especially June. Two and one. Porcello in his 7th Major League season. Debuted with the Tigers back in 2009. Good curveball there, 2-2.
He's thrown a couple of very, very good curveballs here in the first inning. And generally it takes him a couple of innings to get his feet on the ground and start throwing that pitch, but he's come out with it early in this game.
You stay with that pitch here?
Looks like they're going to go to a cut fastball away. Not going to be straight.
And it was well outside, 2-2.
Once again, the breaking ball away. The cutter, as you can see, and a nice play by Hannigan backhanding that ball and keeping Calhoun at first base.
Starting to sprinkle a little bit. Some raindrops falling. The fans reaching for the umbrellas. Full count. And a play for Bogaerts. Xander takes his time, and Porcello threw a scoreless first inning. 0-0. It has rained most of the day here at Angel Stadium. How about this? There has not been a rain out in this park since June 16th, 1995. Twisted Tea is the hard iced tea that tastes like real iced tea. Be a little twisted. As you can see, some of the fans have started to cover themselves up. As David Ortiz leads off the second inning against Richards. Did you own an umbrella when you lived in Southern California?
No, I didn't. You know, I played here 3 years, and I don't ever recall being rained out. I remember one time we had a light tower failure that cost us a game, but not a rain delay or a rain out.
Richards had 2 strikeouts in a very effective 1-2-3 first inning. 1-1 to Ortiz. 2-1. Your first games came as a member of the Angels.
Yeah, a little bit different out here now than it was when I played here. The only time we drew any fans was when the Yankees were here, or the Red Sox were here, or the Tigers drew very well. But a lot bigger crowds now than they had back in those days.
3-1 on David Ortiz. They renovated this park in the late 90s. Turned it into a baseball-only facility again. Los Angeles Rams, before they moved to St. Louis, used to share this park. That'll be a play in center for Trout. Ortiz couldn't quite get the arms extended. One away here in the second inning. Hey, Red Sox Nation, want the inside scoop from Dunkin' Donuts? Follow at Dunkin' Boston on Twitter for tweets about exclusive contests, news, and more happening in and around New England. The Red Sox run on Dunkin'. So Garrett Richards has retired the first 4 men he's faced. And now Hanley Ramirez, then Pablo Sandoval here in the second. 19 homers, leads the team. 1 ball and no strikes. Hanley was 0 for 4 last night. Grounded into a double play, and he struck out. Fastball at the knees evens the count at 1-1. Hanley, in fact, leads the Red Sox in home runs, RBI, runs scored, and in slugging. A ball and a strike to Hanley Ramirez. Right at the shortstop I-bar for out number 2.
Now that's a frustrating feeling for a hitter. You make good, solid contact, and you're out before you leave the batter's box. A line shot by Ramirez, but right at Eric Ibar, the shortstop, and before you can even get 1 or 2 steps toward first base, you're out. And that's after hitting the ball right on the barrel of the bat.
They call those atom balls, right? Hit it hard, but right at him.
Yeah, I called it a little something different than that, but we can't use on TV.
Strike 1 on Sandoval. Are you more frustrated as a hitter when you do that, or if you hit a ball weakly? Oh, that one gets a piece of Richards, and Sandoval's going to reach first base. A comebacker that Garrett Richards could not glove. Deflected it shallow towards shortstop, and nobody had a play.
And it's unfortunate for Richards, too, that he's okay. A curveball that goes right off. It looked like his elbow. And deflects out towards shortstop. No play for Ibar, and Sandoval picks up a base hit. Where did that get him? It's tough to tell whether it was the glove, the elbow, the arm, but he's okay. No attention needed, and he's back on the mound. And to answer your question, it's frustrating, I think, more so when you don't swing the bat well and you're making weak outs, because, then your timing's off and you're not quite right. When you're hitting line drives at people, at least you feel comfortable doing it, but it's still frustrating.
So a 2-out base runner for Alejandro De Aza. Red Sox first base runner of the game comes on a Sandoval infield hit. De Aza hitting .323 since joining the Red Sox. Takes ball one as he gets another start against a right-handed pitcher.
And it looks like that's the way it's going to go for a while, with De Aza getting starts against left-handers, right-handers, I should say, and Victorino probably getting starts against left-handers.
1-0, and that one foul. When you look at the comebacker that Richards just took from Sandoval, it wasn't a very hard hit ball. May make some harken back to an injury that he suffered against the Red Sox last season. And it was a serious one. He ruptured his left patellar tendon, covering first base, ended his year. 2-1. Jerry, this was a scary looking injury for a guy who was in contention for the Cy Young Award.
Covering first base at Fenway Park, and it was ugly. There's no question about that. As he gets to first base, you can see that knee give away on him, and he just kind of laid there for the longest time. They finally got him up on a stretcher to carry him off, and of course that was it for him last season.
Three and one on De Aza. The postscript is, after his season ended at 13-4, the Angels went on still to win the division, make the playoffs. And Garrett Richards, after missing 2 weeks at the start of this year, back and in the rotation. A short lead at first, and ball four to De Aza. 2 on with 2 out. Hey fans, join Ben Sherrington and John Farrell along with team scouts, ex-players, and many more at Boston University August 22nd and 23rd. It's the 5th annual Sabermetrics Scouting and the Science of Baseball Seminar. All proceeds from ticket sales to this event go directly to the Jimmy Fund. Get more information at saberseminar.com or by emailing saberseminar@gmail.com. And I can write that down for you. So Brock Holt bats with 2 on and 2 out. Got a night off coming back from his All-Star Game experience yesterday. For Holt, had been playing every day for just about a month. Ended the first half on an 11-game hitting streak, trying to deliver a 2-out RBI hit. Fall behind 0-2. I think that crossed up Carlos Perez.
Yeah, no question about that. As soon as he caught the ball, he was expecting a fastball. Instead, he got a breaking ball from Richards. Immediately calls timeout and gets out to get on the same page with him. Watch the reaction from the catcher on this. He's looking for a fastball. He gets the breaking ball. It's a good thing it wasn't the other way around. That's where you really get hurt.
I imagine it still makes your heart jump a little bit.
That's why you can see him call timeout right away. They get out there to get things straight.
0-2 on Holt. Back to the breaking ball. 1 ball and 2 strikes. Brock said he had a fantastic experience in Cincinnati this week. Got into the game as a pinch runner. In fact, he pinch ran for Mike Trout for the American League team. Stole a base, scored a run. Got him looking over the outside corner. Strikeout number 3 for Richards, and we're scoreless after 1.5. More clarity on the upcoming starting rotation. With more, here's Garen Austin.
Thanks, Josh. Some roster moves today as manager John Farrell announced that Noe Ramirez had been called up and Travis Shaw had been optioned to Pawtucket. And manager John Farrell also announced that Stephen Wright will start on Monday.
Stephen Wright will make that start on Monday here, Game 4 of this series. But Noe comes back to us with a heavy right-handed hitting lineup and to continue to keep an appropriate number of pitchers on the staff. Well, the need for a starter exists, and even at the time when he was optioned out, he was throwing the ball well. And, the choice was to go to Joe Kelly at the time, but with our approach to keep Justin Masterson in the bullpen, Stephen was the next guy to come to us, and will.
And so Stephen Wright, he'll get the start in the finale of this series on Monday night. He's pitched well, Jerry, when he's had the opportunity for Boston this season.
He's done a nice job for the Red Sox. Unfortunately, he's been in that situation where he's had to bounce back and forth between AAA and the big leagues. But we'll get the opportunity on Monday night here against the Angels.
Eric Ibar leading off against Porcello, a 1-2 count. Eduardo Rodriguez gets Game 3 tomorrow against Hector Santiago, an all-star from the Angels. Ibar's been hot. 2 balls and 2 strikes at the count on the veteran who's been batting nearly .500 his last 10 games. David Freese and C.J. Cron to follow for the Los Angeles Angels. Porcello's 2-2. And Ibar stays alive. Porcello struck out a couple in the first inning. Pitched around a 1-out walk. As Garen mentioned, the other end of that roster situation today, Noe Ramirez, a right-hander recalled from Pawtucket. He'll be available tonight out of the pen. Full count on Ibar. Eric Ibar has been the starting shortstop for the Angels for the better part of the last 10 seasons. 31 years old. Full count pitch. Ball 4, he lost it. A leadoff walk, second free pass, handed out by Rick Porcello. Here is that move. Ramirez takes the place of Travis Shaw. Travis had played some first base before the All-Star break. And in limited action, as you see, batting at the Mendoza line. So Noe Ramirez, a right-handed option available in the bullpen tonight. Breaking ball for a strike. Porcello has had a good feel for that pitch early on. Former World Series MVP David Freese, the numbers, at least batting average wise, pretty significantly down this season. The fastball is low. It's 1-1 on Freese.
Ibar is in front at first base. He has 6 steals on the season, caught 3 times.
One ball and 1 strike on Freese. Off the foot, 1-2. Time. I beg your pardon. Nesson is proud to support the National Suit Drive this month in July. When you make a donation of gently used professional clothing at any Men's Warehouse location, you help unemployed men and women look their best as they re-enter the workforce. Learn more at nationalsuitdrive.com. Jerry and I will look through our closets and see if we have anything that we can add.
I'm sure there's some stuff that we could donate.
Softly hit towards short. Bogarts gets the lead runner. That is it. Freese able to beat Pedroia's relay at first base. Ibar is erased, though, on the fielder's choice.
Yeah, it was like some confusion between Bogaerts and Pedroia on that play, because Bogaerts is playing like they had no chance to get a double play, just making sure they got that out at second base, and Pedroia is still trying to turn it over. And he gets taken out at second base on a pop-up slide by Ibar. And of course, the man safe Freeze at first base. That's Pedroia, though. He tries to turn everything over regardless of the situation.
So now the powerful DH C.J. Cron takes ball 1. If you're Dustin, coming off an injury, perhaps should you be a little bit more careful?
He can't be. It's not in his makeup, you know, and you're right. I mean, you got to be careful, especially with the type of injury he had, but, I mean, he's just not wired that way to be careful. I mean, he's got to play full out all the time.
Runner in motion. That one tapped towards short. Well, with Freeze on the move, no chance to get him. Bogaerts takes care of Cron. And a man in scoring position with 2 out. Tonight's poll question is presented by the Scion TC. Should Los Angeles get an NFL franchise? We got to wondering since we're here in Southern California. Text SOX1 if you think LA should. Text SOX2 if they should remain NFL teamless. Text your answer to 536-536. Message and data rates may apply. 1 message per vote. Visit NESN.com/terms for terms and conditions and privacy policy. It's been a long time since they've had an NFL team here. So now with the runner at second, Matt Joyce behind in the count. 0-1. I was mentioning this earlier. Before the Rams moved to St. Louis, they played right here at the Big A.
Yeah, this place got very ugly for a while when they enclosed it. It made it a football stadium, totally enclosed, and it was not a pleasant place at all to play baseball at that time. Great for football, though.
Lots of talk of maybe not 1 but 2 NFL stadiums being built in the area. 1-1 on Joyce. Matt Joyce over from the Rays this offseason. Red Sox saw him a lot when he was with Tampa. Spent the previous 6 years calling the Trop his home field. Hitting below the Mendoza line is Joyce. Just a 190 average thus far here with the Angels.
Yeah, he's been a major disappointment for the Angels. Not what they expected to get from the player that played at Tampa Bay.
30-year-old outfielder. The Angels gave up a pretty good pitcher to get him, Kevin Jepson. Porcello tries to strand Freeze at second. He misses, and it's 3-1.
Tries to break off that curveball again, this time too low, and Matt Joyce not biting. First base open for Porcello. Left-hander at the plate. The right-hander Perez, the catcher, on deck. Let's see how they go about this on a 3-1 count.
Back to the curveball is what they do. And Rick snapped off a good one.
Not giving in with the fastball that time. 3-1, going to the breaking ball, and another very good one by Porcello early in this ball game. Now you don't know what to look for. You go 3-1 breaking ball, and 3-2 he may do the same thing.
Freeze at second with 2 out in the second. Fastball just off the inside edge. A close ball 4. And the third walk by Rick Porcello.
That's a good pitch right there by Porcello. That's that two-seam fastball that he throws inside and comes back on the hitter, the left-handed hitter especially. And I thought that should have been called a strike. It looked to me like it had enough of the plate. Good late action on that two-seamer, but not called a strike. And down to first base goes Joyce.
You can see Hannigan held it there for an extra moment, tried to frame the pitch for Hunter Wendelstedt. So now with 2 on and 2 out, Carlos Perez. As you can see, I think, Jerry, a lot of people think there should be an NFL team headed out here.
I think there should be. I mean, with this many people all loaded into one big area, I mean, I don't see why there shouldn't be a team out here, that's for sure.
The counter argument's been recently, well, everybody would just rather go to the beach on a Sunday in the fall.
Go to the beach on Saturday. Go to the beach any day, every day. Go to the beach after the football game.
Right? Play at 1 o'clock. Perez, in his first year in the major leagues, came over from the Astros this offseason. A catcher known for his defense. Well, 2-0. Porcello has not yet allowed a hit, but Jerry, he's walked 3 batters, and now 2-0 on Perez.
Yeah,
I think he's going to go talk to him.
Seems confused right now, too, as he calls Hannigan out. They're going to have a conversation on how they want to attack this hitter. To see Bogart's going in to check out if they're changing signs or not. And the concerned look of Kyle Willis and John Farrell as they take a peek out toward the mound.
But this would be the hitter that you'd want to go after.
Absolutely, number 9 hitter in the lineup.
2-0. A high chop, tough play for Sandoval. The ball falls out of his hand as he tried to make the exchange. Bases loaded with Angels on a Baltimore chop from Perez.
That's probably going to go as a base hit, but I think if Sandoval plays this clean and gets rid of it, he's got a chance at first base. And they are going to give him an error on this. On the transfer right there to the throwing hand, just drops the baseball, and from that point on, no chance to get anybody.
For Sandoval, that's his first error in his last 20 games. The defense had been, of late, much improved from Pablo. Bases loaded for Giovitella. And he gets ahead in the count, 1-0. With the catcher running there, it probably plays a lot into the official scorer's decision to rule that an error.
I think, depending on the speed of the runner and obviously where he was in that baseline, I thought that Sandoval had a chance to get him if he makes that play clean. And he did not, so he's given the error on the play. I think it's the correct call. They get the bases loaded and they haven't had a hit in the inning.
Walk, error. Giovitella struck out back in the first. That one skips past Hannigan to the backstop. The Angels take a 1-0 lead as Freese crosses the plate on a wild pitch.
Now what's unusual about this is the way Hannigan tries to make the play. He backhands the ball, and generally you'll see Ryan, just try to block this pitch. Directly down in the dirt at 92, a fastball, and that's certainly not where they were expecting that. Hannigan trying to do everything he could to catch that ball, and it gets up and over his shoulder, and in comes a run. So this has been a strange inning for Porcello.
That is his team-leading 8th wild pitch of the season. Still 2 men in scoring position. Then a 2-0 count. Borderline strike. It's 2-1. Well, the run will be unearned because of the error. Sandoval's E5 extended the inning, and the Angels have taken advantage. A lot of that, Jerry, we've seen early. Indecision between Hannigan and Porcello, and one or the other calling for time. Now the 2-1. That's into right center. Betts is on the run. Mookie makes the catch, and the Angels will settle for one. They lead it 1-0. Geico Red Sox moment all season long. Geico will highlight the 1975 Red Sox in honor of their 40th anniversary in their 91st game of the 75 season. The Sox lost to the Rangers 10-5. Freddie Lynn homered. He had 3 RBI for the Sox in the loss. Still in first place, as you can see at the time. 40 years ago. Garrett Richards now working with the lead, and Hannigan leads off. 9-1-2 in the order. Mookie Betts and Dustin Pedroia will follow the catcher Ryan Hannigan. It's his 9th game since being activated off the DL. Checked his swing. It's 1-1. .231 average on the season. That's gone up of late. And as you can see, he finds ways to get on base. Hard hit, but a play for the shortstop, Ibar. One away here in the 3rd. Monday night, July 27th, is now Pedro Fathead giveaway night at Fenway Park to celebrate baseball's newest National Baseball Hall of Famer and his soon-to-be retired number. All fans in attendance on the 27th will receive a limited edition number 45 Fathead decal. Visit RedSox.com to buy your tickets today. That's a keepsake I'd want to get. Mookie Betts behind 0-1. Betts struck out on 3 pitches to open the ballgame. .22-year-old hitting .353 since the 11th of June. Been one of the hottest hitters in the major leagues for the past month. One ball and 1 strike. That's foul again. And over the first base dugout, 1-2. Crowd has filled in nicely. They seat just over 45,000 at the Big A. And a typical Southern California late arriving crowd. Betts fooled by the breaking ball. He strikes out for the 2nd time. 2 gone, and that's 4 strikeouts for Garrett Richards. Well, we talked about Pedro Martinez Fathead giveaway as we prepare for his induction in the Baseball Hall of Fame. We bring you another classic Pedro Martinez moment. Remember this video, 1999 All-Star Game at Fenway. Pedro struck out 5 of the 6 men he faced en route to winning the game's MVP award. An electric night. Our Pedro moment. Pedroia takes ball 1. In fact, that was the most strikeouts in an All-Star game for a pitcher until Zach Greinke this year. You can see the ceremony, the number retirement after his enshrinement in Cooperstown, coming up in a couple of weekends. They'll retire his jersey at Fenway on Tuesday the 28th. It's right after the Fathead giveaway night. Some great honors coming up for a great pitcher. Two and one on Pedroia. Late on the fastball, it's 2-2. DraftKings.com is paying out over $300 million this baseball season. DraftKings has given out $34 million to Boston residents alone since the site launched. Get your free entry into a one-day fantasy baseball contest today using promo code NESSON. 2-2 is hit into right center. Trout is on the run. Tracks it down, Mike Trout, and the Red Sox go in order. Strongest fan photo. Use hashtag NESN-DataStrongFan, and you just might see yourself in an upcoming broadcast. Tweet your photos now, brought to you by T-Mobile. Well, Rick Porcello out for his third inning. Calhoun, Trout, and Pujols. The 2, 3, and 4 portion of Mike Scioscia's batting order. Into the screen, 0-1. Cole Calhoun walked his first time up. Thus far, Porcello has not allowed a hit, but he has walked 3 batters. A wild pitch last inning plated the game's only run.
Now, once again, Porcello and Hannigan not on the same page here early in this ball game. Fastball up after shaking off a couple of different pitches.
Missed up and in, and it's 1-1. Why do you suppose that's been tonight?
It's hard to tell. It depends on how Porcello feels himself. Maybe he doesn't feel that the pitches that Hannigan's calling for, he has, working for him at this particular time.
Missed with the curveball, it's 2-1.
And that's been a pitch that has been pretty consistent for him to this point, with the exception of that one. This is not a good breaking ball at all from Porcello. Hannigan has to backhand it. Wants the curveball again, shakes him off. Fastball shakes him off. Wants to change up.
And he missed low with it, 3-1. Well, you never want to walk a leadoff batter, but you especially don't want to do it with the 2 guys who follow Cole Calhoun. That is hammered into right field. Piazza just watches it fly. 2-0 Angels. Cole Calhoun with a solo home run in the 3rd.
Now that has been a problem for Porcello all season long, keeping pitches up in the zone and having the home run ball bite him. Porcello gives up his 17th home run of the season. Fastball up in the zone. That's supposed to be a 2-seam fastball, but it stays upstairs and Calhoun takes it out of the ballpark.
It was a 3-1 pitch. And now here's Mike Trout. Strike 1 on Trout, who struck out his first time up. We had just mentioned Porcello obviously didn't want to walk Calhoun with Trout and Pujols behind, and Calhoun sat dead red. That's out of play, 0-2.
But the location of the pitch, when you call for a 2-seam fastball, you're expecting it to be down in the zone, and that time the 2-seam is just staying upstairs, and that becomes a very, very hittable pitch. And that's been a problem consistently for Porcello all season long.
First hit of the night for the Angels. They lead it by 2. Trout strikes out swinging. A fastball from Porcello gets him for the 2nd time.
Trout has struck out a lot this year, 87 and 88 here tonight with the 2 strikeouts. Keeps that fastball away from it, 94 miles an hour. Very late defensive swing that time by Trout with a couple of strikes on him. So you see the difference when you're ahead in the count and when you're behind in the count, the type of swings you get.
So 1 away, and here's Albert Pujols. Good bounce back from Porcello. One ball and no strikes. So the Angels, Jerry, have won a game and now lead tonight 2-0. In the series, they still only have 3 hits. Good curveball, 1-1. They've come when they count.
They certainly have, and the Red Sox haven't got many more than what the Angels have in this series. And then really the Red Sox didn't have much of a threat at all last night, even though they did out-hit the Angels in that game.
Out of play, 1 ball and 2 strikes. Follow the Red Sox all season with MLB.com at bat, the #1 app for live baseball. Get MLB.com at bat for your smartphone or tablet today. Pujols grounded to short back in the first inning. Breaking ball away, it's 2-2. The 2-2 pitch. Back to the breaking ball. It's off the glove of Bogaerts towards second. Pedroia can't get the out at first. Good effort on 2 ends. Xander Bogaerts and Dustin Pedroia on a ball that was scorched.
And it took all the speed of Albert Pujols to get to first base and beat that out. There it goes off the heel of the glove to Bogaerts, and over to barehanded is Pedroia at second base. And he almost throws Pujols out at first base. That'd have been remarkable. But Pujols getting down the line just barely beats it.
Well, you're right. That was significantly closer at first than you ever thought it would be once the ball glanced off of Bogaerts' glove.
And it's surprising where the ball glanced off his glove, too. It was the heel of his glove. Very unusual.
Well, we're going to have another conference between Hannigan and Porcello with Ibar ahead 1 ball and no strikes.
See the spot where he hits Xander Bogaerts right off maybe that finger, that long finger of the glove. As he was going into the dive, the eyes might have been moving, and that's maybe why he was not able to catch that ball.
1-0 on Ibar. His walk began the run-scoring rally last inning. 1 ball and 1 strike. Porcello really having to work, Jerry. That is 60 pitches.
Yep, that's not a good sign here in the third inning, that's for sure.
Ibar grounds it foul past first. Porcello ahead 1-2. You can see David Freese would be the next hitter. A run in the inning. A solo home run from Calhoun. And there's Pujols leading from first base. 1-2. Neat swing. That foul ball wickedly into the seats. Arbella Insurance Foundation is the proud presenting sponsor of the WEEI Nesson Jimmy Fund Radio Telethon this season, dedicated to striking out cancer in kids. Arbella donates $50 for every strikeout thrown by a Sox pitcher, up to $100,000. Arbella Insurance Foundation, here for the Jimmy Fund, here for good. Ibar spoils another one.
And continues to lift the pitch count of Rick Porcello. These long at bats. Not a bad pitch right there off the inside edge, about a half inch, and still able to foul it off as Ibar.
He walked on the 7th pitch he saw last inning. Another long at bat here. We'll do it again at 1-2. Porcello won double-digit games in each of his first major league seasons. All of that with the Tigers before this year. 2009 through 14 with Detroit before the Red Sox traded for him. Fastball at the knees, a called strike 3. Ibar is gone, and there is out number 2.
You could see Hannigan when he was giving the sign how badly he wanted that pitch to be down and away. And that's exactly where Porcello gets it. Little lift by Hannigan right at the end, but before that, Hannigan was giving the sign and really pushing that outside leg like he wanted that ball down, he wanted it away, and that's exactly where he got it.
4 strikeouts for Rick Porcello, and here's Freese with a man on first and 2 out. Oh for 1 tonight, now 0 for 3 in the series.
One more look at that last strikeout to Ibar, and you can see him calling the fastball away. Get it out here, get it out and down. That's a pretty good reminder right there.
Watching these two work together tonight, it's almost like you're watching Hannigan as an on-field coach working with Porcello. Broken bat towards short. Bogaerts gets the force. The barrel of the bat went towards second. A run in, it's 2-0 Angels. Eastern Bank is here to make your banking and your day easier. See how at easternbank.com. Here, you're first. Eastern Bank. It's raining again in Anaheim as we go to the 4th inning. Now 2-0 Angels. Garrett Richards to face the meat of the Red Sox order. Bogaerts leads off. He flew to deep right his first time. Ortiz and Hanley Ramirez scheduled to follow. Some more scurrying for the rain gear among the patrons. An unseasonably rainy night. 1-1. Richards has given up a hit and a walk. Those each came in the 2nd inning. Pablo Sandoval's infield single, the only base knock for the Red Sox thus far against Garrett Richards. That's foul past third. Still 1 ball and 2 strikes. Get immediate care without leaving the ballpark at the Beth Israel Deaconess Medical Center First Aid Station, located behind Section 12 on the lower concourse. BIDMC is the official hospital of the Boston Red Sox. Bogart shoots another foul.
That's raining about as hard right now as it did all afternoon here in Southern California. Certainly you can play through this type of rain, but they did have the field covered for most of the afternoon.
See, look there, the Red Sox fans in that last shot, they were the ones that didn't need the gear. They were the tough ones. To third and a play for Freeze. A little wide throwing the wet baseball, but out number 1. Bogart's retired for the second time. Join the Bruins Foundation in Nantucket on Sunday, August 2nd. That's from 6 to 9:30 at the Chicken Box for the Boston Bruins Foundation Nantucket Benefit Show. Listen to great music and mingle with Bees alumni. Proceeds benefit the Nantucket Star and Bruins Foundation. For more information and to purchase tickets, visit bostonbruins.com/foundation. One down in the fourth. The Red Sox still have not scored in this series. Ball 1 on David Ortiz. It's now over 12 innings here in Anaheim without plating a run. The 1-0. Out of play, Ortiz thought he had a pitch to hit. David flew to center his first time. He had 2 of Boston's 5 base hits in last night's loss. A couple of singles. Foul pass first, and Richards ahead 1-2. Would you say it's raining hard enough at the moment to disrupt the pitcher or the hitter?
No, I don't think so. Not at this rate.
Breaking ball missed up and away, 2-2.
Might have to wipe a little rain off the bat, sometimes off the bill of the helmet, but this is not bad at all. We played in a lot worse than this.
2-2. That is fair towards first. Pujols will take it to the bag for out number 2.
Frustrating at bat there for Ortiz. He had a couple of good pitches to hit. He missed them, was not happy with himself, and eventually grounds out to first base. Albert Pujols. Gets a pretty good pitch right here. A breaking ball that stays upstairs, but he tops it down that first base line. With that shoulder coming out a little bit too soon for Ortiz.
That's a frustrated look. So now Hanley Ramirez with 2 out. That hit him right squarely off that front foot. Nothing in 1, and Hanley will try to hobble it off.
I don't think it was the foot.
Nope. Somewhere above it.
It'll be a while before that one hobbles off.
Yep. It's perhaps just as, if not more, painful. It'll take you a few moments to recapture your breath. You see Hanley trying to hobble it off. Tomorrow on an all-new Charlie Moore, catch East Boston native and Patriots Super Bowl champion Jermaine Wiggins. It's an all-new Charlie Moore Outdoors tomorrow at 7. Ramirez now ready for an 0-1. Into right field, but Calhoun makes the catch in the gap. Hanley hit it hard. Still 2-0 Angels. Make good things happen. Watch how good things are happening to local people at easternbank.com/goodthingshappen. Still 2-0. Let's check in with Garen Austin.
Josh, Jerry, I thought it was never supposed to rain in Southern California because it is raining right now. It's actually raining a lot harder than it was earlier, and the skies are black. Now, I've got this umbrella. I'm staying pretty dry, but these fans are braving it, especially the Red Sox fans here tonight.
Yeah, we caught a few of them. Those are the tough ones. Thank you, Garen. C.J. Cron ahead in the count, 1-0. And Porcello evens it at 1-1 They actually have a forecast for even more rain tomorrow. Cron in the center. Betts broke in. Now races back and can't get it. C.J. Cron ends up at second base with a double.
I think that ball surprised Mookie Betts in center field. Cron, very strong. He's got 5 home runs in limited playing time since being called up. And, gets a good solid contact here on a ball that's down and in. He thought he was probably going to be out, but I think Mookie misread this ball in center a little bit. See him hesitate a second, then by the time he gets in moving, he does not have a chance to catch the ball, and Cronin is second base with the leadoff double.
They always say, right, that a hard ball for an outfielder is one that's hit right at you.
Yeah, directly over center fielder's head.
So here's Matt Joyce with a man in scoring position. That was the third hit for the Angels. 1-0. Joyce walked his first time up. Los Angeles with single runs in each of the last 2 innings.
Well, Joyce should be trying to pull the ball here, get the ball on the right side. They play him in a shift as 3 members of the Red Sox infield to the right side. Nobody out. Try to advance that runner. If you get the bonus, the base hit, you score him. Again, timeout called. This has been a slow pace tonight for Porcello, and you can tell this there's not conviction in his pitches right now. There've been a lot of back and forth between he and Hannigan.
To the right side, that is foul. Holt plays it wide of the chalk. 1-1. Tune in to Bruins Summer Face-Off Live Monday at 8:30. Andy Brickley and Billy Jaffe will have reaction from this week's team developmental camp. Bruins Summer Face-Off Live is presented by your local New England Nissan dealers.
Rick Porcello came into this game with Hannigan catching with a 3.60 ERA. And of course, much higher with Leone and Swihart.
Well over 6 between those two catchers. That's into the screen, 1 and 2. Hannigan, I think, not just for Porcello, but for many in this Red Sox starting rotation, has been a huge help since he's come back from injury.
Now, it's just the experience factor. You know, a guy that knows the league, was down in Tampa Bay, very familiar with the American League and its hitters. And the more experience you have, the more you know how to work pitches.
And he would know this hitter, Matt Joyce, having been a teammate. 2-2. This will be the 75th pitch in 3+ innings for Porcello. Nobody out in the 4th. And a full count on Matt Joyce. Joyce walked on a 3-2 pitch back in the 2nd inning.
5 full counts already in this game for Porcello. And timeout again. Very slow pace for Porcello. He usually generally works fairly quick.
It's a big pitch coming up. The number 9 hitter, Carlos Perez, is on deck as Crone leads from second. Breaking ball hit to the right side will advance the runner. Pedroia takes care of Joyce on a productive out. Crone is at third base with 1 away. Don't miss WB Mason Extra Innings live right after the game. TC and Steve Lyons will break down tonight's game, and you'll hear from Rick Porcello. Whatever, whenever, and wherever. Who but WB Mason? Well, it's early in the game, Jerry, but with a man at third base, the Red Sox are going to bring the infield in here.
Now they have to. They're down by a couple of runs already. They've showed no signs of offense in this series yet, and you can't just afford to give up another run at this point of the ballgame.
And the hitter is Carlos Perez. He reached on the error by Sandoval back in the 2nd inning. Porcello would love a pop out or a punch out. But behind in the count here, 2-0. Not a ton of opportunities for Perez this season, who backs up Chris Iannetta normally.
And one thing Mike Scioscia likes to do is squeeze. Now, I don't know if he'll do it in this situation, but he loves that play.
2-0. 3 balls and no strikes.
Very unlikely now with a 3-0 count.
First base is open, but the top of the order waits with Giavotella and then Calhoun. 1 out, the 3-0. Still a hitter's count on the native of Venezuela, Carlos Perez. Perez, a guy I mentioned earlier, known for his defense. He's thrown out 41% of base stealers here in the season. 3-1 pitch. Good action on that fastball, and it is a full count.
That's a terrible swing, too, on a 3-1 pitch with a man at third base. I mean, that ball was not even close to being a pitch that you would want to swing at in that situation, especially a ball down like that with the infield in.
Payoff. Got him swinging. Big strikeout for Rick Porcello, his 5th of the night. And there are 2 away.
That's a very poor at bat by Perez. He's got a man at third. All you're doing in that situation is looking to make contact in the air someplace to get that run home, and he can't do it. Another sinking fastball that time by Porcello. Picks up the strikeout. And another meeting between Hannigan and Porcello.
Well, the batter is Johnny Giovatella. He has struck out and flown to deep center. It's almost been, Jerry, I think, batter by batter tonight. The game plan, Hannigan, Porcello, excruciatingly going over it. Batter by batter, pitch by pitch.
Well, I think what happens is, Porcello's not feeling it, and he's looking for pitches that he feels good throwing, and I think that's what the problem has been.
Giovatella chasing, and it's 0-1. Porcello, one more out away from pitching around a leadoff double here in the 4th. Working from the windup. Hannigan has to lunge outside to catch ball 1. And now the 85th pitch of the night from the 26-year-old right-hander. That's Crone off of third. Back to the mound and a play for Porcello. He gets out of trouble in the 4th. Still 2-0 Angels. Airlines. Book your low fare now at southwest.com. Well, Garrett Richards' pitching line is brought to you by your Eastern Lexus dealers. He's got a 2-0 lead. And Jerry, he has been terrific through the first 4 innings, continuing the great mound work we've seen from the Angels in the series.
Yeah, he's bounced back from that last outing he had where against, I believe it was Seattle, where they were all over him. They jumped all over him. And tonight he's been all over the Red Sox with his, as predicted, his hard stuff. His fastball, his hard breaking ball, his slider, his curveball. Haven't seen any change-ups yet from him tonight.
This man has the only hit against Richards, an infield single. That's to left field, slicing towards the line and fair. Into the seats, a ground rule double for Pablo Sandoval. Going to the opposite field, and the Red Sox have a man in scoring position with nobody out.
Now Sandoval not waiting around. He jumps on the first pitch and picks up his second hit of the night, taking it to the opposite field. Fastball down and away. He goes with it. And one hops it into the stands for the ground rule double. So the second man this series the Red Sox have had at second base.
Sandoval 2 for 2, as you mentioned. Everybody else 0 for tonight. Here's De Aza. And Richards gets a breaking ball in for strike 1. He walked his first time up for Alejandro. Same situation, Jerry, that you talked about last half inning when Matt Joyce was trying to pull a ball and move a runner to third. The 0-1. Tried to bunt. 0-2.
Yeah, trying to bunt for a base hit right there, going down that third base line against the shift. Not sacrificing the man to third base, just trying to bunt for a base hit to get a couple of runners on. See the shift on, and he's trying to, almost squares around early, trying to bunt to third base, but there's no way they'd be sacrificing down by 2 runs, I would say.
The 0-2. Stays alive, spoils the breaking ball. De Aza, 365 average his last 21 games. It goes back to the middle of June. Fans keep up with NESN this summer on Instagram. Our followers continue to grow every day. Let's see if we can get to 50,000 before the end of August. Follow NESN on Instagram today. Looking for 50K on the followers. Still nothing in 2 on De Aza. Spoils another good pitch. It was right about the time that De Aza's bat got hot that the Red Sox started to turn things around in June. Nobody out in the 5th. Richards, another 0-2. Got him with a fastball. Up the ladder, and the 5th strikeout for Garrett Richards.
Change his eye location from down low to up high, and no contact by De Aza. Sandoval has to remain at second base. Looks like a cut fastball that time to pick up the strikeout.
That brings up Brock Holt. Richards has some really good stuff. Sitting in the mid-90s with that fastball all night. Holt struck out looking his first time. 96 on the gun, 0-1. In the top 5 among all major league starters there in average velocity. Sandoval leads with 1 out. That's to second and Giavotella. 2 down.
Well, that's what they needed right there from De Aza, but De Aza struck out. Holt gets the ground ball, moves the man to third base, but it is with 2 outs now.
And so it's up to Hannigan.
That's the first baseman of the Red Sox have got to third base in this series so far.
Brian Butterfield was getting lonely over there. Hannigan grounded to short. That was back in the third. And behind, 0-1. When Richards got hurt at Fenway Park last August, many thought he was in the conversation for the American League Cy Young Award. It was 13-4. He got hurt the 20th of August. 0-1. 1 ball and 1 strike. Sandoval leads away from third. Hannigan chases the 1-1. Behind in the count, a ball and 2 strikes. Best scoring opportunity of the night and the weekend thus far for Boston. Can they take advantage? Perez blocks it. It's 2-2.
You notice Richards going to his cap quite a bit. You can see on the top of the bill of the cap, he's got some little pine tar there and rosin mixed in, which probably helps him get a grip. You see that often. We saw Pineda last year get thrown out for having pine tar on his body. But a lot of pitchers will carry it on that cap, and nobody complains about it.
2-2 to third and foul. Out of the bag where Freese picked it up. Wasn't there a little to do with Clay Buchholz's cap a few seasons ago?
I don't think it was his cap. It was his arm.
That's right.
And he had some kind of spray mixed in with pine tar on there, and they picked that up in Toronto against Buchholz.
I'm just thinking he always has a very dirty cap.
A lot of caps get in that condition right there. Pitchers have a tendency to go to it quite often.
Hannigan battling with 2 out. Another 2-2 pitch from Garrett Richards. Up the middle, slowed down by the mound. And Giavotella gets the out at first base. Red Sox strand a man and still trail by 2. Ryan Hannigan to end the top of the inning.
Looked like that ball's going to be up the middle, and instead it hits the shoulder of Richards and bounces off towards second base. Socha checking on him between innings. He's okay. As long as the run doesn't score, he's going to be fine.
1-4-3 on the out. Stranding Sandoval at third base. And now Porcello back to work against Calhoun, Trout, and Pujols. Rick Porcello's pitching line is brought to you by Ace Ticket. It's a lot of pitches through 4 innings. Only one of the 2 runs against was earned, and it came on the home run by this man Calhoun back in the 3rd. Cole Calhoun has not been retired tonight. Porcello's 1-0. And it's 2 balls and no strikes.
Now, last night, Calhoun against the left-handed taking it to center field, and against the right-handed tonight taking it out of the ballpark. There's that ball away from Miley last night, and a little bit more over the plate tonight from Porcello, and he pulls that one for the home run.
And he pulls another one deep to right. De Aza just watching the second of the night for Cole Calhoun. 3-0 Angels. Just about a carbon copy of his home run a couple of innings ago.
Well, big night for Calhoun. They wanted that pitch away. It stays inside at 89 miles an hour, a sinking fastball, but bad location. It was supposed to be away. It stays down and in is a great spot for a left-handed hitter.
Cole Calhoun, the 27-year-old out of Arizona State. His 11th and 12th home runs of this season. Angels lead by 3, and here's Mike Trout. Takes the curveball for a strike. Porcello's had success against the reigning MVP tonight. One and one. 2 more home runs allowed by Rick Porcello. You mentioned it earlier, Jerry. That's been an issue. Now 18 in 18 starts. Two and one to Trout.
Yeah, considering the fact that Porcello gave up 18 all of last season, and that to me is a high number for a guy that is supposed to be a single ball pitcher.
2 and one to Trout. That's in the air in the left field. Ramirez circling underneath. 1 out in the 5th inning. Mike Trout just missed one.
Well, it sounded good off contact, but just a long, high fly ball, a curveball that stayed out over the plate. And very fortunate that that ball did stay in the ballpark. A lot of room for Hanley to roam around out there in left field and able to make the catch. That was a bit of a hanging curveball that time by Porcello.
Now ball 1 on Pujols, and when Trout makes contact that sounds like that, I think more often than not they go. Justin Masterson begins to heat it up. Pujols into right center field. This one for De Aza, though, in front of the track for out number 2. It's time for a game break brought to you by Jordan's, the furniture store of the Boston Red Sox. Here's Tom Caron. Thank you, Tom. And so a chance, if the Red Sox could come back and win, to gain a game on the division-leading Yankees. Eric Ibar swings through strike one. Robinson Cano taking his former teammate Michael Pineda out twice. Ibar has walked and struck out. And it's 0-2. Three hard hit balls in the inning. The home run by Calhoun and deep flyouts from Trout and Pujols. As Porcello approaches the century mark in pitches thrown, he tries to finish the fifth inning. 1-2. Red Sox at the moment 7 games behind the Yankees in the American League East standings. One and two on Ibar. 2-2. The rain has stopped. The sun sets overhead here at Angel Stadium. 2-2 is low. And a full count.
7 times this year, Porcello's given up 2 or more home runs in a ball game.
Well, we've got another full count. The payoff pitch coming to Ibar. Pitch number 100 on the night. We'll do it again at 3-2. Ace Ticket has the best seats at the lowest prices to all the games at Fenway, all with a 200% guarantee. Right now, Ace Ticket has special savings on all Red Sox games, including the Yankees. Visit Ace Ticket or call 1-800-MY-SEATS. It's been a laborious 5 innings for Porcello. Here comes another payoff to Ibar. Out of play again.
7th full count he's had in the ball game tonight. No wonder the pitch count is so high for him this early in the ball game.
And Masterson has been throwing for a couple of minutes now, maybe close to ready in that pen. A run in, now 2 outs. Another 3-2 to Ibar. A play for the shortstop, Bogarts, and that'll retire the side. Calhoun with his second home run, 3-0. Fan photo of the game. Tweet your strongest fan photo to hashtag NESN-DATA-StrongFan, and you just might see yourself in an upcoming broadcast. Brought to you by T-Mobile. 2 home runs from Cole Calhoun. And now the Angels with a 3-0 lead into the 6th. Garrett Richards starts off Mookie Betts with a strike. Betts has had a hard time with Richards tonight. Each of those strikeouts has been swinging. And that one in a shallow left. In comes Joyce. Out goes Ibar. And it's Eric Ibar, the shortstop, for out number 1.
Now the breeze is a little bit different tonight here at the ballpark in Anaheim, where the wind is blowing almost straight in from center field. You don't see that very often in this ballpark.
One out for Dustin Pedroia and then Xander Bogaerts. Pedroia had his best contact of the series in his last at bat. He flew out deep to Mike Trout. The 1-0. Just foul past third. 1 ball and 1 strike. Hey, do you have a son or daughter who wants to learn more about baseball or the Red Sox? Visit NESNClubhouse.com. It has videos, games, and a whole lot more. It's fun, free, and easy to use. Visit NESNClubhouse.com. Back to the hill. Richards with a glove hand stab.
He's been very active back there, whether he's been taking it off the body or that time handling the ground ball from Pedroia. Dustin 0 for 3 in the game tonight. Curveball right there, right back to Richards as he'll run it underhand to first base and plenty of time to get Pedroia.
He's been kind of a target on the mound tonight. That's the 3rd ball hit back to him. Sandoval got an infield hit. Hannigan off of his body for an out last inning. And now Bogaerts into right. Cole Calhoun waiting. Another 1-2-3 inning for Garrett Richards. At the end of the night for Rick after 5 innings of work. The Angels with a 3-run lead, and this call to the bullpen is brought to you by Kia. Here comes Justin Masterson. Man who began the year in the rotation for the Red Sox, now pitching in his 11th game. It's only his second in relief. The ERA of 6 inflated by a couple of outings right before he was placed on the disabled list in May. Porcello threw 102 pitches in 5 innings. Gave up 2 home runs to Cole Calhoun. 3 runs total on 4 hits. David Freese against Justin Masterson. And it's 0-1. Ooh. Hit by pitch. Freese caught that one in a dangerous spot around the elbow. And a leadoff base runner for the Angels here in the 6th.
Yeah, Masterson trying to come inside with the fastball. Gets Freese right off the elbow, and he'll make that long walk down to first base in a little bit of pain.
Right near the funny bone. Porcello walked 3. Now Masterson hits the first man he faces. Here's C.J. Cron taking ball 1. In 45 innings this season, again, most of that as a starter. Masterson 53 hits and 31 runs against. Cron has doubled and grounded out. The slider for a strike, and it's 1-1. Terry, John Farrell has said that he does feel comfortable with Masterson in this middle inning role. The veteran he knows he can count on to come in a spot like this.
Well, and he's already stretched out as a starter, too, so it is kind of the ideal situation for him. He's not going to be a starting pitcher because he's a guy that can come in and hopefully give a starter's performance, but also provide some innings for the Red Sox in the middle of a ball game.
Pitched a scoreless inning in his first relief appearance of the season, right before the All-Star break. Cron fishing on the breaking ball. He strikes out, and Masterson gets the first out in the 6th.
That's the good drop-down slider right there by Masterson. He'll go down on the side, start at the middle of the plate, and finish off the outside edge. Gets a lot of right-handers to chase that pitch. That's a pitch that he can use when he's ahead in the count.
Justin, now 30 years of age, originally drafted by the Red Sox in 2006. And here's Joyce, who's walked and grounded to second. Garrett Richards has shut out the Red Sox through 6. 0-1 to Joyce. And we'll see Richards back on the hill when we go to the 7th. Bullpen is silent for the Angels. Nothing in 1 on the veteran Joyce. That's towards first. Holt's going to gamble, and he gets the lead runner. Brock Holt getting David Freese by a half a step for the second out of the inning.
That's a big play by Holt at this stage of the ball game. I mean, you're trailing at 3-0. You've got to try to keep them off the board and keep anybody out of scoring position. So Holt, who has to charge this ball, spins, takes a look, and has to throw over the top of Masterson to get the out at second base. Obviously, no chance for a double play, but get that lead man and keep him out of scoring position. Good play.
Just the 4th start of the season at first base for Brock. And now Perez with 2 out. Angels catcher is 0 for 2. And he falls behind. No balls and 1 strike. I think it has to be so impressive when you look at a guy like Holt playing all over the diamond defensively. Nothing in 2. There are nuances to every position, especially, first base, ball's coming at you at a different angle, different throwing motion you have to have, and it's not his natural spot.
Now, we've seen it with Holt, we've seen it with Betts, we've seen it with a couple of different players where they have changed positions and made it look easy. And believe me, it's not easy to go from one position to another, even if it's on the same side of the infield or outfield. It's not easy. And they have made it look easy. We become spoiled by what we've seen from Mookie Betts and Brock Holt.
It's a big lead there for Joyce, but Perez chases the slider. Second strikeout in the inning for Masterson. We go to the 7th. By Southwest Airlines. Book your low fare now at southwest.com. The Red Sox hoping to get some sort of offense generated as we go to the 7th. 3-0. The Angels have changed left fielders. Daniel Robertson in place of Matt Joyce. But Garrett Richards, the starter, remains on the hill. And he has been one of the stories of the night. Ahead of Ortiz, 0-1. Richards has only allowed 2 base hits through 6 innings.
And both those to Pablo Sandoval.
Sandoval due up 3rd here in the 7th. Ortiz 0 for 2. 1 ball and 1 strike. The 80th pitch from the 27-year-old. Missed with the curveball, 2-1. Last night's Angels starter C.J. Wilson, 8 shutout innings, 111 pitches. Thus far, 6 scoreless from Richards. Boston still blanked in the series. Borderline strike evens the count at 2-2. Ortiz has flown to center and then grounded to first. And Richards with a 2-2 pitch. Overthrew the fastball, a full count. Mike Scioscia intently watching his starting pitcher as he begins his 7th inning of work. Full count pitch. Check swing. Keeps Ortiz alive.
Ball riding up and maybe out of the strike zone, but Ortiz can't check the swing and eventually fouls it off.
Richards now ready, another 3-2. Into the shift, that's the shortstop Ibar. Playing on the second base side of the infield, Eric Ibar retires David Ortiz. Red Sox suites and premium packages provide a VIP experience for you and your guests. Call 877-RED SOX 9 or email premiumsales@redsox.com for more information. More Sox fans in Southern California. Those guys are hoping for something to cheer about, Jerry.
There hadn't been much in this series, that's for sure.
Good piece of contact from David Ortiz, but one gone in the 7th. Now Ramirez. That pitch registered at 98 miles an hour for Garrett Richards here in the 7th inning.
Yeah, velocity just as strong, if not stronger now, than it was earlier in the game.
Out of play, right field side. 1-1. H.P. Hood salutes the Red Sox Foundation for its commitment to 4,900 accredited charities throughout New England. Richards trying to defeat the Red Sox for the 2nd time this year. His line thus far much better than back on the 22nd of May. Another check swing, and it's 1-2. Gave up 5 runs in 6+ at Fenway Park that Friday night. Angels won the game, though. They scored 9 runs in 1 inning off of Rick Porcello in that game. Porcello and then Matt Barnes. There was that game, 104 pitches. 1-2. Foul past third base for Hanley Ramirez. Hanley hit the ball very hard to right in his last at bat. Cole Calhoun able to make the catch, though.
He's hit the ball hard twice tonight. Back in the 2nd inning, a line drive to shortstop, and last time up, the line drive to right, as you mentioned, Josh. She's pretty good at bats.
This one not hit hard. Shallow center, and Ibar retreating. 2 out of the 7th. Now the Red Sox hoping to avoid being shut out for the 16th consecutive inning to begin this series. Here's the man with each of their hits tonight. Pablo Sandoval, an infield single and a ground rule double. Hitting with the bases empty. Richards falls behind 1-0.
Now back in the 2nd inning, a ground ball that's going to go off Richards and carry him toward shortstop, where he picks up the base hit, and then the line drive down the left field line that's going to bounce in the stands.
This one playable for Johnny Giavotella. 1, 2, 3. Go the Red Sox. 9 in a row. Retired by Garrett Richards. WB Mason, Extra Innings Live. That's for Red Sox Final, presented by Uno's. TC and Steve Lyons will preview Eduardo Rodriguez start tomorrow night against the Angels. A Sunday night game that's coming up. Red Sox Final, presented by Uno's. Justin Masterson back for his second inning. Johnny Giavotella looks at strike one. Oh for 3 for the Angels leadoff hitter. Masterson recorded a couple of strikeouts in the 6th. The story for now, though, Jerry, continues to be, I guess, on one side of the coin, Garrett Richards' great pitching, and on the other, Red Sox inability to generate offense thus far in the series. This a play for Mookie Betts. Nope. Piazza takes charge right at the last moment for out number 1.
Well, it's been a combination of things. I mean, there has been good pitching, obviously, for the Angels in this series, but the Red Sox bats have been extremely silent and have really mounted hardly no opportunities at all to score runs. And it's been very frustrating to watch for the first couple of games back after the break. Pitching hasn't been bad. 3-0 ball game tonight. That's manageable. You can't do anything offensively. A 1-0 game last night.
And here's the biggest reason that the Angels have the lead. It's Cole Calhoun, a pair of solo home runs against Porcello. 1 in the 3rd, 1 in the 5th. He's also walked. 1-0. In a full season last year, hit 17 homers. Cole Calhoun already with 12 in 2015. 3-0, and here it was earlier tonight.
Now Calhoun back in the 3rd inning off Porcello. And then again in the 5th, where they wanted a sinker away, they get a sinker in, and he makes them pay for that mistake.
Takes a 3-0 strike. In 5 innings from Rick Porcello, those were really his only 2 mistakes. Dangerous count, 3-1. Masterson pours one in there. It's a full count. One down in the 7th. Mike Trout waiting in that on-deck circle. The payoff pitch. Past the shift, right where third base normally would have been. The 3rd hit of the night for Cole Calhoun.
Now how about that for an at bat? After 2 home runs, pulling the ball, going against the shift and picking up a base hit. That's pretty impressive by Cole Calhoun. Playing way over his Sandoval at the shortstop position, and right down that third base line goes Calhoun after pulling the ball for a couple of home runs in his last 2 at bats.
He has more than half of the Angels' hit total tonight, 3 out of 5. Well, Trout struggled against Porcello. 2 strikeouts in an 0 for 3. That one in tight, 1 ball and no strikes. 8-game hitting streak for Trout coming in. 13 hits in those 8 games, 6 of which were home runs. 1 on, 1 out. Trout to shortstop. That could be 2. Bogarts Pedroia to Holt. Inning over. We head to the 8th. 3-0 Angels. 3-0 Angels after 7, and there are 2 key reasons for that. One on the mound and one at the plate. Jerry, it's Garrett Richards, the pitcher, and that man, Cole Calhoun, with a couple of homers.
Yeah, big night for Calhoun. 2 home runs, a single, also walked in the ball game. Broke up Miley's no-hitter last night. Garrett Richards, once again, pitching well against the Red Sox.
Out for an 8th inning of work is the right-hander, De Aza, Holt, and Hannigan. 7, 8, 9 in the order due up. Alejandro De Aza takes a strike. .92 pitches for Garrett Richards. And that walk that you saw De Aza drew, the only of the night. One ball and 1 strike. You can see it's been some time since back-to-back starting pitching performances from the Angels like we've seen. Really nice breaking ball to get ahead. 1 and 2 on De Aza. Friday night it was C.J. Wilson with 8 shutout. The 1-2 pitch. In the air to center and right at Trout. 1 away. Fans for every home run the Red Sox hit the rest of the season. Alltown will donate $500 to the Cystic Fibrosis Multiple Sclerosis Fund. Alltown is New England's premier healthier convenience retailer. That is now 10 consecutive men retired by Richards. Jerry, you made the point. He may be getting stronger as the game goes on.
Yeah, you know, the last couple of innings, the velocity actually at times has increased. It's higher than what it was earlier in the ballgame.
Brock Holt is 0 for 2. Struck out looking and bounced to second.
You know, not that velocity is everything, but I mean, it's a good sign that, you know, he's not fatigued by any means in this ballgame right now. And here he is in the 8th inning.
And about to deliver his 98th pitch. 1-1. Normally best in the middle innings. Holt to the right side and a play for Pujols. Gets help from his pitcher, and there are 2 away. For every Red Sox game that goes into extra innings, or the Sox get a save, CVS Pharmacy will make a donation to Children's Hospital towards a $25,000 commitment once again this season. CVS Pharmacy is the official pharmacy of the Boston Red Sox. So here's Hannigan. He had the best RBI opportunity of the series back in the 5th inning when he hit a ball off of the pitcher Richards and was retired 1-4-3. Richards is an out away from 8 scoreless. And here comes pitch number 100 on the night. Still at 95 miles an hour.
.95 and a little cut fastball that time from Richards. Down and away from Hannigan.
Red Sox last base runner came in the 5th inning when Sandoval doubled. 0-2. That bullpen has been quiet all night for the Angels. Ryan Hannigan behind a pair of strikes. Just off the corner, away, and it's 1 ball, 2 strikes.
Wow. Hannigan lucky to be still standing at home plate after that pitch. That could have gone either way, and fortunately for Hannigan, it goes his way.
You could see Mike Scioscia wondered where it missed. Now the 1-2 pitch. In tight, 2-2.
Down and away, up and in. Now maybe back outside again.
Mookie Betts on deck, waiting and hoping for a chance in the 8th. Softly hit towards third, and David Freese. Inning over, 12 in a row for Richards. He's been brilliant through 8. People's United Bank. Now tomorrow night, it's the Sunday evening game here in Anaheim. Then the trip continues with the finale of the series against the Angels Monday and 3 in Houston before the Red Sox return to Fenway next Friday night. Still 3-0 Angels. For the second night in a row here at the Big A, 8 scoreless innings tossed by the Los Angeles starting pitcher. Meanwhile, Justin Masterson out in his 3rd inning behind Rick Porcello. He faces Pujols. The single was an infield hit back in the 3rd inning for Albert. And it's 0-2, a good slider.
That fastball at 90, slider at 82 to Pujols to quickly get ahead, no balls and 2 strikes.
Raining lightly as it's done on and off throughout the game. Pujols to short and Xander Bogaerts. 1 down in the 8th. Masterson has been very sharp. Coming up after Red Sox coverage on NESN Sports Today, Gary Strusky and Nicky Reyes will have highlights from Celtics Summer League action, and you'll hear from Patriots wideout Julian Edelman. That's tonight on NESN Sports Today, presented by People's United Bank. See what know-how can do. Here's the Angels closer, Houston Street, getting ready, and that looks like he'll get the 9th inning. Eric Aybar into the screen. It's 0-1.
Not a bad play as long as you can stay in the batter's box. You draw in the third baseman Sandoval, and you try to slap the ball by him or slap the ball to shortstop. But the key there is staying in the batter's box. If you get 1 foot out of it, you're going to be out.
0-2. A more conventional swing by Eric Ibar. Left-hander Robbie Ross is ready in case Masterson needs help in the 8th. Ibar 0 for 2. He's also walked. 1 ball and 2 strikes. This is the last batter that Masterson was yet to face. Rick Porcello allowed the 3 Angels runs in his 5 innings of work. 1-2. Got him swinging. 3rd strikeout for Justin Masterson. 2 down in the 8th.
Yeah, very sharp since he's been in this game tonight. Masterson going back to the slider to pick up the strikeout that time. That's been a very good pitch for him.
Well, the base is empty for David Freese. He's 0 for 2, and Masterson hit him with a pitch back in the 6th. One of only 2 base runners against Justin. And a strike at the knees makes it 0-1.
Velocity up to 90 miles an hour, too. We had not seen that from Masterson in quite some time. 87, 86, 88 sometime. At the slider at 81.
Masterson a chance at a perfect 8th inning. Red Sox have the top of the order due up in the 9th. Still 0-2. Monday at 9, don't miss Red Sox first pitch, presented by Joseph Abboud. Available at Men's Warehouse. TC and Steve Lyons will have the latest news leading up to the baseball trade deadline. That's Monday at 9 o'clock. Freese fishing after the slider. 2 strikeouts for Masterson. Last chance for the Red Sox coming up. Airlines. Book your low fare now on Southwest.com. Your local Subaru dealers. Sullivan Tire and Auto Service. Thank you, New England, for 60 great years. The Scion TC. Digital Federal Credit Union. See what DCU can save you. And by the Kia Sorrento. Well, back for the 9th with a 3-0 lead is the starter, Garrett Richards. Mookie Betts took ball 1. defensive change by Mike Scioscia. Taylor Featherston is in for David Freese over at the hot corner. Betts is 0 for 3, a pair of strikeouts. And it finds the new man, Featherston. 1 out. Richards has retired 13 consecutive batters, and Jerry, here is all the scoring tonight.
Well, wild pitch, first of all, one that bounces past Hannigan to get a run in, then back-to-back home runs. Calhoun in the third. And then Calhoun on a mislocation in the fifth. A sinker that was supposed to be away stays down and in, and he leaves the ballpark for the second time tonight. That's been it.
Red Sox pitching has been solid again. Dustin Pedroia takes a strike. But for the second night in a row, thus far the Angels pitching has been just that much better, and it's been all Garrett Richards. Strikeout, flyout, groundout for Pedroia tonight. 1-1. To go back to 2002, the last time we've seen back-to-back starts from the Angels, like Richards and C.J. Wilson yesterday. Pedroia into left center. Robertson on the run. A little bit of a basket catch for Daniel Robertson for out number 2.
He almost overran that ball. Pointing up toward the lights. Maybe he lost it for a second in the light tower, but he almost overran that ball, had to stop and come back for it as it was dipping very quickly.
Robertson just entered the game a couple of innings ago. Garrett Richards needs one more out for a complete game shutout. And it's Xander Bogaerts who's 0 for 3. Angels have had their closer, Houston Street, ready in the pen. But Richards, as he's been all night, locked in here in the 9th inning. Nothing in 2 on Xander Bogaerts, 95 miles an hour. Trying to avoid something that hasn't happened in 7 seasons. Back-to-back shutouts. 2 strikes on Bogaerts. Richards got him swinging. A complete game for the 27-year-old right-hander. The Angels have taken the first 2 of the series, and they've done it by blanking Boston twice. 3-0 the final. We'll be back with a wrap-up from Angel Stadium after this.